This tank is the AMX 13105. This is a French Tier 10 light tank. The map is Malinovka in encounter mode. I am working on a mission, which is LT-15, the Aggressive Recon Specialist, and I'm going to complete this mission in this game. I'm going to get 6,300 spotting damage plus additional damage. So the first thing that I did was I tried to spot some enemy tanks, which I obviously did. Unfortunately, I got spotted, so I have to retreat, and I'm trying to weave in between the buildings on my way back, trying to keep buildings behind me as much as possible. I did take a hit for 764 damage, but that's okay because I'm going to do very well in this game. And I've already gotten 1,600 damage on my first pass. So there's many different ways, you know, there's many different ways to approach this. I knew that ROM Panzerwagon was spotting me, so I knew that I was going to have a little bit of trouble doing a spotting run. So that's why I decided to sit in this position. And I also came out to this side to stay far away from him. So now that I think it's safe, I'm probably going to advance soon, unless I could do some damage to this guy. I'm up to 2,600 spotting damage. I had a hit on an Object 277 for 1,058 damage, which was a huge asset in this game. So obviously you can see I'm advancing in the lower area. And I'm notifying my allies the target that I'm planning to light up, which is the E0 area. Now, one thing you're going to notice, there's different ways to get out of, to return and retreat from spotting. And one way is to head in the direction that I'm heading. And the reason why it's good is because of the slope of the land, it's very difficult for the enemy team to hit you. If you go more on this side, on the other side of the houses, it's easier for enemy tanks to hit you. So it can be very safe to go this way, just stay low. And always stay surrounded by solid objects as much as possible. Score's 2-1. I'm up to 3,100 spotting damage, including some on that Rheinmetall Panzerwagon. I have the feeling he's going to be out of the game soon. Oh, he's lucky. Excuse me. It's too bad that this tank only has 3 rounds in it. I believe it used to have 4 rounds, but they nerfed it because they didn't want light tank players to be able to snipe. So they took away some of its firing capabilities. And they probably reduced its penetration as well. I'm really against making those types of changes to the game. People should be allowed to play tanks whatever the way they want to. Okay, so I'm up to 3,200 spotting damage. I'd love to shoot at those tanks. A lot of enemy tanks here. I once had a game where I spotted everybody on the enemy team. I think it was 14 tanks. And I was so close to them that the enemy team was spotted the whole game, and they were pinned down and they couldn't move, and we won like 15-0. And it was on Sand River. The video is on my my website. It was a great game. Spotting can give you a huge advantage in the game. So now one of the things that I'm noticing is that those tanks are being hit and I'm not getting spotting damage for them. Obviously it's because I'm not spotting them, but it defeats the purpose of me trying to complete this mission. I only need one more mission to win an Object 260. I have to complete MT-15, and then I'm done. So one of the concerns that I had was that Object 268 was right in front of me, but I wasn't spotting him. Now I am. Luckily, everything worked out, but there was a little gap of time I was concerned. He just took a hit, and I did not get any spotting damage from it. He just took another hit, and I did not get spotting damage from it. I could hit him right in the rear. Okay, so now I'm getting the spotting damage on that tank. Now remember, there's an enemy tank right in front of me, which is a T-110E3. He disappeared for a moment, but now he's back. I could easily take him out of the game. And you notice he disappeared again. I'm up to 4,100 spotting damage. Now would be a great time to fire. And he's out of the game. Up to 4,400 spotting damage, 4,700 combined. So now we only got 5 tanks left in the game. And I was concerned here. I thought that maybe I wasn't going to make it, so I had to rush to get as much damage as I could. I'm up to 5,100 combined. I need 8,000. Too slow to turn around. Should have turned around a lot faster. I might have been able... Oh, I wasn't reloaded. Up to 5,500. I'm up to 5,900. Score is 12-9. I got 4,400 spotting damage. I'm going to get 6,300 total, so there's a bit more yet to come. And you'll notice I'm repositioning so I can hit that Type 5 heavy. And surely we're going to win this game. That was an amazing camera angle right there. Ouch. Okay, so that's the end of the game for me. The score is 13-10. The in-game stats currently show 2,100 damage, 5,200 spotting damage, 7,400 combined, but I did pull in an extra 1,100 spotting damage, so I actually got up to 8,500 combined, which allowed me to complete the mission, LT-15, the Aggressive Recon Specialist. So it is possible to do it in encounter mode. You might think you have to be able to passively scout on this map, but it's not true. I was able to do it by actively scouting. If you have any questions or comments, please post below. This tank is the AMX 13105. This is a French Tier 10 light tank. The map is Malinovka. I am going to get 4,000 spotting damage in this game. There are people who think that Prokhorovka does more spotting damage, but for me, that's not the case. For me, I get more spotting damage on Malinovka. I use the World of Tanks replay analyzer, and I get more spotting damage on this map. Now you'll notice I came to this position, this row of bushes over here. It's going to prevent the team from advancing in the south. We're going to completely control the south. They're never going to be able to advance as long as I'm here. Any enemy tanks that remain at the base area are going to get spotted. They're going to get taken out of the game. And any enemy light tanks that try to remain near the base are going to get spotted. Plus, there is a sniping ridge, which is in the F7 area. That ridge right there, we're going to be able to spot tanks that show up on that ridge also. So we control a large portion of enemy territory, with the exception of the northeast, where everyone goes to brawl. I've already got 682 spotting damage in this game. There's another 173. So he's going to figure out at some point that he can't do anything. He can't advance. And really, if you're in that situation, I mean, the IS-7's choice is either to defend the position or to retreat. If he defends the position, it's not going to do him any good because he's not going to spot any enemy tanks. So really his best option is to retreat and go fight somewhere else. Now the question is, are there other tanks on the enemy team that are at the base area? Usually there is. And if you watch these videos, I had a game recently where there was an E100 that was literally right behind that building, that bush right there, who was there for a large portion of the game and wasn't spotted until many minutes had gone by. So some tanks are going to be able to hide well. You see that the Object 140 is trying to advance. Looks like he was able to make it, but he's probably going to get spotted as he moves up into the next position. And from this position where I am, I can shoot at him if I want to, but I run the risk of being spotted, so I'm going to have to hold my fire. Now, when you play in this position, one of the things you have to be aware of is you have to know when to leave this position. You have to keep, okay, so there's an example. The Object 268 was spotted at the enemy base more than 3 minutes into the game. So you have to keep an eye on where the heavy tanks are in the northeast, and you have to know when that flank falls, because when that flank falls, you got to leave this position. And the way you leave this position is very simple. You just head in that direction towards your base, and if you get spotted, stay in the low area, or you could head that way. You could dive into the water if you get spotted, but I never get spotted, so not something that I need to worry about. But keep your eye on, it looks like we're winning in the northeast. Score's 4-0. I'm up to 2,000 spotting damage. So if you look on the mini-map and you see how we're winning and we're advancing, that tells me that what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to stay here and I'm going to go back behind the enemy base at some point. I'm sure I could easily snipe at those tanks. But I am getting what appears to be the full spotting damage on those tanks. I got 675 spot damage on that Object 430U. You'll notice that I'm moving forward a little bit in order to extend my range. Score 7-1. So I made the decision to start advancing onto the enemy base. Maybe snipe at those tanks. Once they get outside of spotting range, I'll start sniping at them. Let's see if the IS-7 takes heavy fire. It looks like he didn't. Well, it looks like he did. So the IS-7 got hit for around 600 damage, and I got half of that as spotting damage. Ah, that sucks. Okay, so I didn't get any kills. The after-game results said that I did 4,000 spotting damage, and I did 372 damage on my own. The score is 12-3. We're surely going to win this game. Let's move on to the next video. This tank is the AMX 13105. This is a French Tier 10 light tank. The map is Murovanka. I am going to get 3,100 spotting damage in this game. If you like playing light tanks, the AMX 13105 line, the French light tank line, is one of the best lines, the most fun lines of light tanks to play. One reason is because they have autoloaders. Another reason is because they're agile. They have good mobility. And another reason is they have good concealment because they're rather small tanks. So you can see I tried to go to this position. I did get spotted. And this is a new position that I'm trying to see if I can get any value out of it, because I want to be able to spot for my team, obviously, as well as I can. But since I was spotted, you really only get one chance to roll into that position. I'm going to try to come in for another pass for another position. Let's see what happens. I did get 778 spotting damage already. So it looks like I made it without being spotted. Now the question is, will I get spotting damage? So the answer is no. Those tanks are taking hits and I'm not getting spotting damage so far. That charioteer made a really dumb move. It's not safe to do what he did. If you want to advance, you want to advance to where the houses are, not along the red line. If you're on the south team, you can advance along the red line, but on the north team, you got to go to the houses, which means you're going to be close to the enemy, but at least the houses will block you from being hit. Score 0-2. You can see that we don't have a strong line of defense or offense on the west side. There is a Type 4 heavy, but he didn't come into a fighting position. And it's a very risky position. If the enemy advances, I'm going to get spotted here. Scores 2-4. I only have 1,200 spotting damage. Not a good position right now. But it looks like the enemy's unable to advance any further. So one of the things that you have to learn as a spotter is you want to spot where you have sufficient snipers on your team. And over here, my team is a little bit lacking. There's a lot of enemy targets. You got to have enemy targets, you got to have snipers backing you up, and you have to have the ability to spot the enemy team. You have to have that distance so that your allies aren't self-spotting the enemy. So over here, we have the enemy targets, even though they're leaving the area. But we don't have those snipers backing us up. And what the enemy is doing is they're going around the other side of the hill. Because they're going around the other side of the hill, I'm not going to be able to spot them. So don't expect a lot of spotting damage out of this game, which is probably one of the reasons why I'm only getting 3,100 spotting damage. Now, he does have a gun that does a lot of damage, so I do have to be careful about engaging with him. I could easily open fire with him because the enemy tanks are not going to be able to really hit me. I think I'll be able to get that T-49 and run. We're going to find out right now. So I wasn't paying attention, obviously. I ran into that tank. Score is 7-6, and I got 2,700 spotting damage. Okay. Now, one thing that you can okay. This is the AMX 13105. This is a French Tier 10 light tank, and the map is highway. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to an initial spotting position. Then I'm going to go to a secondary spotting position. I'm going to spot a couple tanks. And then I'm going to go to the enemy base. I'm going to scout out the enemy base. I'm going to locate the enemy SPG. I'm going to kill the enemy SPG. And by that time, we'll have cleaned up in the northwest, and we're going to have a big lead over the enemy early on in the game. So one of the things that I do as a player now, you first start out spotting, but then now that I'm more advanced, I always snipe when I can. So I'm going to start sniping on these guys. I'm going to pull back. Let's see if we can get one more in. Probably not. So now I'm going to move into a secondary position. The secondary position is closer to the enemy. And the reason why I come to this position is because if you go to the secondary position and the enemy light tank also heads out into the field, you're more likely to get spotted. So that's why I wait until we've verified that the enemy light tanks haven't come out here before I come to this position. From here, I wait till the binocs come on, and you'll notice that no enemy tanks were spotted up on the hill towards the enemy base. So I decided to get closer to the enemy, and I still have a way out. I can easily turn right and dive off the side and escape. Right now, I'm missing an opportunity to snipe on those tanks up in the northwest and help out my team. And I decided instead to continue scouting out the base. I did spot the Badger. One of those enemy tanks is now out of the game. Watch this easy shot. Ah, come on. It sucks when you're that close and you miss an easy shot like that. Well, at least we know it won't happen again. Okay, so now we got a second SPG. My gun is making weird movements because I have high latency. You notice I'm going perpendicular to him. You want to avoid going directly towards the SPG because you don't want him to be able to aim at you. Easy shot. Miss. Got cheated. You know what? It's probably because I have the 220 millisecond ping time. That's probably why I missed. The gun goes all over the place. Okay, so that's the end of the scouting portion of this video. Score is 5-0. I got 2 kills, 990 damage, 1,145 spotting damage. And I just wanted to show you how easy it is, but you have to do it when you have the right opportunity. If you don't have the right opportunity, then obviously you don't do this maneuver. This tank is the AMX 13105. This is a French Tier 10 light tank, and the map is Himmelsdorf. I'm going to show you a sniping position that you can use on this map. One of the things that I do is I try to spot the enemy artillery, and I try to kill it. So when he comes out, I'm going to try and get a first shot in, and usually it takes 2 shots to kill him. And then I'm going to follow him as he crosses the map and try to put in a second shot. From the looks of the icons, it looks like they got slow. There he is. So I missed my first shot. I'm going to advance to a second position. Take that second shot. Advance to a third position. Oh, he survived. But you see the technique. It works. I've been able to kill tanks using that technique. Been able to kill enemy SPGs using that technique. They're no longer safe on the Himmelsdorf map. Once more people learn how to do it, it's going to be the end for SPG players over here. Okay, so when I'm in this position, one of the things that I do is I look up on the hill to see if there's enemy tanks that I can shoot up on the hill. And in this case, there are not, because my team did not take the hill. My team stayed back. So there's really no... Oh, there's a tank up there I can shoot at. But because I've been spotted, I have to hide. And the IS-7 is advancing, so I have to be wary about what that IS-7 is doing also. It used to be that you could just go into that corner in the center of the screen and snipe up on the hill from there, but they changed the map to make it so that it's not really possible, or it's very difficult now. So that's why I use this position. It's a lot easier. That IS-7 snuck up on me. Really sloppy gameplay on my part. I'm pinging the minimap to alert my ally that there's an enemy tank behind us. Okay, so this is beyond the sniping position. Let's move on to the next video. This tank is the AMX 13105. This is a French Tier 10 light tank, and the map is Serene Coast. I'm going to show you a sniping position that you can use in this game. So what I do on this map is I often rush out to where this house is. There's a blue house. And you got to be careful because of your gun elevation. You might not be able to snipe at the tanks that you spot. It's a lot more difficult now to snipe at tanks than it was before, but it's still possible. You have to spot the tanks as they come across and snipe at them. Here comes the first one. You can see because I held my first shot, I may have missed my chance to fire 3 shots. I only did damage on 1 out of 2 shots. And here's the next customer. Okay, so now I have a rather long reload. I'm going to advance, and I got some spotting damage on the tortoise. Probably going to miss my chance to hit this tank. So I got 3 hits, and plus I got spotting damage on 2 tanks. Sloppy driving. It's not usual for a tank to come over like what that VK did. So that usually doesn't happen. Usually you don't get hit from doing that sniping position. Let's move on to the next video.